Welcome to the Thrive 25 in 5 podcast, where we provide a quick win to optimize your health and longevity in just 5 minutes. Hey everyone, welcome to today's podcast. If you have kids, you've probably seen the Disney movie Inside Out, which visualizes the little chemicals that influence how we feel and act. There's nothing funnier than Lewis Black acting out his anger. There is some truth to how that works, and we're going to wrap up this week on mindset with some of those chemicals that affect our brain and why we do the things that we do. So here's going to be a list of 3 neurotransmitters that are the silent drivers of our brain. The first is dopamine, also known as the chemical of more. How often do you feel distracted? You're standing in the kitchen drinking your morning smoothie, listening to your kids and your partner talk about the schedule for the day, but really you're only half listening because your mind is going to your own to-do list. And if they quiz you on that pickup time, you'd probably fail. Pretty much every time our thoughts take our mind away from the here and now, it's caused by dopamine. We tend to drift off and think about the future. This is known as anticipatory desire. We're thinking about what the opportunity holds for us, a future promotion, more money, awesome vacations, anything that excites us. And that's because dopamine triggers these wants. And for most of us, that's a good thing. We want to be motivated. We want to strive to make tomorrow better than today. But the problem is too much dopamine. That's when we get what's called hedonic adaptation. Basically, it's never enough. We always need more. We want more money. We need a bigger house. We always want to fly first class. That's because dopamine doesn't have a standard for good, and there's no end goal. It wants whatever is new and shiny, regardless of what we have right now. We get dopamine hits all the time. This can come from gambling. I just saw a stat that since being made legal in 38 states, there was over $100 billion wagered on sports games in 2023, and 10% of all college students now have a gambling addiction. Dopamine is also why social media platforms keep us hooked. We get a jolt from a like or a mention, and we even get a dopamine hit when we check our phone, which is about 344 times a day. So how can we keep up our motivation while putting our dopamine in check? Well, for that, we need a little bit more serotonin. Serotonin is the molecule of respect. It's essential for our sense of well-being, and it not only improves our mood, but also our memory and our ability to adapt to change. It really helps our brain shift from focus of those worries that keep us down to wanting to connect more with others. Tryptophan, yes, what you think of with Thanksgiving turkey, is actually one of our amino acids, and it's what our body uses to make serotonin. So to boost serotonin, it makes sense, you got to eat more tryptophan. And it's not just in turkey, but it's also found in chicken, carrots, blueberries, and pumpkin seeds. These are some of the top foods that send serotonin into our brain. And if you find you're exceptionally low in serotonin, you can also take a 5-FTP or tryptophan supplement. And those other core supplements we talked about previously, vitamin D and magnesium, they're both great serotonin boosters. So what are some other non-food tips to get more serotonin? Well, you can get massages, which makes for a great connection with your partner. Get bright light in the morning, at least 3,000 lux, and stay off social media as much as possible because negative comparisons absolutely crush our serotonin levels. The final neurotransmitter we'll talk about here today is GABA. This is the molecule of calm, and it slows the brain down when it's too excited or anxious. Boosting GABA will neutralize dopamine and adrenaline when we're super pumped up. Now, things like green tea and foods high in vitamin B6, like salmon, chickpeas, potatoes, and bananas, are also great to boost our GABA. Now, what's important here isn't to maximize any of these neurotransmitters. The goal is to strike the right balance. So ask yourself, are you consistently motivated? If not, maybe you need more dopamine. And if so, that's great. But then, are you ever actually satisfied? Maybe you've got too much dopamine. Do you struggle with negative thoughts and constantly worrying? Maybe you need a serotonin boost. Are you anxious and always feeling overstimulated? Maybe your GABA is a little too low. The key, again, take the time to figure out what your brain needs and then find the natural ways to boost the right neurotransmitter because your brain and you deserve to be as healthy as possible. It's definitely one of the keys to having the mindset for you to be able to thrive. That's all for today and this week. Stay tuned. We'll come back next Monday. In the meantime, if you like these podcasts and videos, please give us a review, subscribe to our channel, and tell your friends about it. Thanks for listening and have an awesome rest of your day. While we strive to provide informative and inspiring content, the information shared in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be taken as medical advice. Always consult with your healthcare provider for any personal health concerns or before starting a new health regimen.